Hello, my name is Chloe English.
And I'm Chloe Rosenbaum.
We built our car to be the Hogwarts Express from Harry Potter.
In this video journal, we are going to show you all about our car. The sun is a powerful energy source, and the sunlight is one of the largest sources of energy, but the sun rays concentration on Earth's surface is not that powerful. This is mostly because of the spreading of radiation from the sun. Although the sun rays are very powerful, the Earth's atmosphere and clouds block and differ about 45% of the incoming sunlight. The sunlight that reaches the ground is about 50% visible light, 45% infrared radiation, and small amounts of ultraviolet and electromagnetic radiation. Even though solar energy itself is free, the cost of its collection, conversion, and storage are high, and it limits its spreading in many places. Solar energy is a renewable energy source, which makes it a great type of energy to exploit since it is sustainable and is very low to almost no carbon emissions. Regular gas-operated vehicles emit a lot of carbon emissions and account for 27% of total U.S. gas emissions, according to the EPA.
In our Junior Solar Sprints car, we used many different materials. For the base of our Hogwarts Express, we used an empty paint bottle. When the paint bottle was empty and was no longer useful, we washed and cleaned it out. Then, we painted the bottle the same colors as the Hogwarts Express. Another material we used was laminating paper. This laminating plastic was extra scraps that were going to be thrown away in the garbage. We used the laminating plastic to make small windows on the back of our car. Next, we used extra Legos from Chloe R. That she used on her Lego model Hogwarts Express. We glued those to the top of our car so the car would look more like the actual Hogwarts Express. Now I'm going to explain how we came up with the design. Chloe and I were thinking about what to do when I suggested the flying car that Ron Weasley's father built in Harry Potter. We scratched that idea when we realized it would just look like a normal car. A few minutes later, Chloe came up with the idea of Hogwarts Express. We would only do the front train car because the whole thing would look too long. Both of us were huge Harry Potter fans, and we thought this would be a great idea for both of us. If we connected a solar panel to a motor, the solar panel is conveying energy straight to the motor. The light and power from the sun are sent into the solar panel. This creates energy and makes the motor spin. The battery provides electricity and sends the electricity to the gear. This makes the gear spin when the correct wires are attached to a metal part on the motor. Now, what does the motor do? The motor has a little axle on the front that is attached to a gear. The gear is attached to another gear that is connected to the wheel. When the energy connects to the motor, it spins the gears which spin the wheel to make the car move. We carefully chose and picked out the materials that we used for our car. We used materials so they could support the base of our car and so that they could hold the motor in place. Also, the top of our car can support the solar panel as well.
The gear we chose for our small gear was a 30-tooth gear and a 60-tooth gear for our large gear. The ratio is a 2-to-1 gear ratio. These two gears were chosen because they were the only gears that would fit well to support our car. Plus, when we tried a first couple of different gears, they didn't work as well as the ones that we have now. The first time we tested our car, it wasn't moving at all. We didn't know why. Then we learned that we needed to sand down the bottom part of our car because it was touching the ground and it was stopping it. Also, our gear was too big for the axle and spun around it. We dabbed hot glue on either side of the car and it worked. Our car was moving, but it wasn't very fast. After a bit of thinking, we put straws on each end of the car and glued them on. Some weren't glued and some were, but it ended up working. It took a long time to get our car better than it was at the start, but we figured out how to do it.
Thank you for watching our video presentation, and I hope you enjoyed.